Mm.
Eesh. It was a cool afternoon. Hose is out. Suck it to me. We good, man. What's the good word, man? Pardon me. Back to the regular scheduled programming. Welcome to No Cap with yours truly, live from NAP. Been an interesting day, man. And story time today is more so I'm interested in sports, like most people. And it was an NFL trade deadline. There were three real active teams, right? The Eagles, the Cowboys, the Jets. And then there was a team that wasn't active at all. The Browns. And I had different thoughts on each of these teams that brought a little perspective. And people forget they teach us all through your early years and through your adolescence that sports is supposed to be basically representative of what you see in life. So looking at the Eagles, they've been at it. They've been proactive, addressing situations, trading for two corners. Shit, they only had 1.5. They went and got 1.5 more. So shoot, worst case scenario, we'll have 2. Best case scenario, our halves turn into holes and we got 4. We're going to go get a pass rusher. We're going to trade a wide receiver that we're not using. Just being proactive and not resting on our laurels. Approaching every day as an opportunity to get better. And that's commendable. That's how we all should aspire to be. Not getting complacent. Not looking at our past successes or accomplishments and going, that's good enough. But striving for more. And you got the Jets, where you bang your head up against the wall and then you come to a realization that what I'm doing it ain't working. So you cut my losses, try to gather as much of my resources as I can, equip myself with as much knowledge and flexibility as possible, and then cut ties, wash my hands with the situation and start over. Whether it be professionally, where you chasing a career that you no longer enjoy, you're in a relationship that you don't really see yourself growing in or enjoying, or you just need a fresh start, need a new network of people, need a new environment. Just, it could be a myriad of things, but having that understanding that things got to be different, and that also is commendable. But you then get to the Dallas Cowboys, where, and my apologies, I wasn't being specific, right? With the Eagles, of course, they traded for Michael Carter from the Jets, who he was slot corner / second string corner. Pretty good. They also went and got Jair Alexander, former Pro Bowler, taking a flyer on him because his knee hasn't been right. So we want to be able to give him the runway to heal. This low risk, high reward kind of deal. Then who else did they go get? Was it Joe Tryon, Shoyinka? They went and got Jalen Phillips. They went and got Jalen Phillips from Miami. A guy that he was in a dead end situation. So why don't you come over here, make the most of it? Then you get to the Jets. Again, Michael Carter, out of here. Sauce Gardner, welcome to the NAP. Live. But you can't be playing how you was in New York. Got to bring the sauce with you. We don't need a mod gardener. Need sauce. Then Quentin Williams, Big Q, Roll Tide. Got him up out of there. And they acquired resources, first round picks, second round picks, this year, next year, bolstering the wide receiver room where we really only had 1.5. We got Garrett Wilson, who's hurt, Alan Lazard. Then we got Arian Smith from Georgia, the young guy. But you get Mechie in exchange for Michael Carter. Mechie, slot receiver, dog. Then you go out and you get A.D. Mitchell from the Colts. High potential, high risk, low reward because he came with 2 first-round picks. So another low risk, high reward move. And the Jets was done for the day. Then you get to the Cowboys, right? Who got Quentin Williams from the Jets. And they also got Logan Wilson, linebacker from Cincinnati. And their situation is the one that a lot of lessons can be pulled from, where Cowboys just got their ass kicked yesterday by the Cardinals, who are underachieving, underperforming, just running the mill team, nothing special. And they treated the Cowboys so disrespectfully. And the very next day, Jerry go out there, we're going to bolster the defense. We're going to trade for a defensive lineman that we needed. We're going to trade for a linebacker that maybe we needed, maybe not, because the whole time the secondary is still a problem. But we're going to make all these moves and see what happens, right? Just throwing caution to the wind. And one of the lessons is some of your moves or your decisions can come too little too late. With a 3-5-1, that's over half the games of the NFL season right there. And to have a chance at the playoffs, you have to basically win out. So these 2 new players that you traded for have to get acclimated immediately, because the Cowboys play either Thursday or Sunday, and that turnaround is short. Or making a reckless move where, again, these guys didn't get to practice. They're not up to speed on the defense. There's going to be a limit on how many plays they can participate in just because they're unfamiliar. But the deeper lesson with the Cowboys situation is, don't turn a bad decision into a worse decision. And with the Cowboys, the Micah Parsons situation was terrible. Like, there's no way around it. Like, you made a bad decision for the sake of your ego. Another lesson right there. Don't let ego and emotion get in the way of progress and logic. You let your pride get in the way and you made a terrible decision. And then because you kept relying on your pride and remained emotional, you kept making emotional decisions that keep escalating the first issue. Well, now you to the point where it's just like, man, shit got to do something, because people are on my ass over and over and over again, making emotional decisions. And you don't want to get into the cycle of constantly making emotional decisions, because that doesn't play out well. Never plays out well. So a lot can be learned from that. Putting your pride to the side, not making emotional decisions, remaining logical, making timely decisions, not letting the small one become bigger. There's time and place for everything. A lot of lessons. And then you got the Cleveland Browns, who, they're the worst situation. And it's so tough trying to even get to the root issue. Just when you're not in alignment, that's a big problem. When you're not intentional, everybody that's on your team isn't in agreement. Your actions, your decisions, your emotions, your day-to-day activities, the stimuli that you're experiencing, all of these things aren't in alignment, and they're not all intentional. You end up looking like the Cleveland Browns, where shit's all over the place. It's chaotic. You can't pinpoint the good from the bad in your life. You don't know how to improve what's going on just because everything is scattershot and all over the place. It's lack of organization. Just everything in life seems harder than it should be because you're not in alignment. You're not intentional. So when you're not in alignment, you get to doing things. It makes it easier to make these illogical decisions and these emotional decisions because now look, you got a quarterback that you're trying to convince yourself. I don't even know what you're trying to convince yourself of. That's like dating a man that got multiple kids by multiple women, has no career goals, has no purpose for himself, but he got good weed on him all the time. Like, what are you doing with him? What's the point? What are you trying to convince yourself of in this situation? And why you fucking with this nigga who got good weed, you got somebody over here who don't smoke, has a plan for his life, but he unfamiliar, so shoot, if he ain't got no clout, you not interested. Or you got this one over here that has clout in the environments he's in, but you're not privy to these environments. You uncomfortable in these social settings because you weren't raised in them. You don't know much about them, so you stand in your comfort zone. I'm gonna be chilling out east. I don't know shit about out west. I don't know nothing about out north. I'm out east. You looking for me? I'm out east. But where you from? Ain't no money at. Where you live? Ain't no money at. Life isn't great where you at right now, and you striving and aspiring to a better life with more money, more opportunities, more resources, but you're not willing to put yourself out there and put yourself in the environments in which that's possible. Your dating life is like the Cleveland Browns. You got a quarterback over here that everybody will tell you was good when you saw him play. When given the resources, made magic happen. Was able to take those lemons and make lemon pound cake, package them, then brand them, then sign deals with the local grocery stores where now his pound cake is being sold out of these different stores. But you like, man, fuck all that. We ain't giving you no lemons no more because I don't even like lemons no more. Now I want strawberries. And you in fucking Cleveland, ain't no strawberry farms. But you see how that don't make sense? It's all over the place. Just like the Cleveland Browns. You had pieces that people could have been interested in, but nah, because what I'm going to get for it, it's not going to be enough. You had weaknesses in your roster. Yeah, but I don't want to trade any of the resources that I actually do have to improve the roster if I'm not going nowhere. And the quarterback that you've been playing hasn't been playing quarterback. The team has been winning in spite of. Yeah, but makes me comfortable. I don't want to put the other one in. I don't like that one. You in a shitty situation and you making excuses on why to keep your situation shitty. Trying to figure out how to word this. I apologize for the breaks because even with this podcast and shit, right, and making these episodes, when you're not conversing with somebody and it's you talking to a camera, that shit's totally different and it's real weird. And then without the back and forth and bouncing ideas off each other, you're no longer getting the stimuli that if you play Guitar Hero, you're not getting the buttons popping up on the screen to know what to press and when. It's just you get on your train of thought and wherever that shit take you, you go. So ride with me. But got to start acknowledging people with derogatory terms. Bring back consequences. Bring back derogatory terms. If you trash, you're trash. If you make stupid decisions, you are stupid. If you behave in a manner which does not equal where your maturity level should be, you childish as fuck. If you're rude with no reason to be, just disrespectful, you a dickhead. And if you all of these things combined, it's probably because you're a Cleveland Browns fan. Don't be the Brown. That color is appropriate. Whenever you see somebody making moves like that that don't make sense and not adding up, you being a Brown. Some men saying one thing but doing another, and you just like, nigga, what? You a Brown. Woman saying one thing, but what she's saying is not matching up with what she's doing, being a Brown. Kids, because they have a lack of life experience, are all going to be a Brown at some point. Natural. But you don't want to stay that way. And if you know better, you should show better. You knew better, you do better. Don't be a Brown man. But into the actual show we go. Consider myself a giver of game because I'm somebody who privies himself to be a recipient of game. I'm a sponge to the shit and I'm going to soak it up. Wherever there's game being given, I'm somewhere nailed to the floor trying to get in how I fit in. Shit, when it's time to move my feet, I'm going to beat these things. You feel me? Pause. But anytime I can pick up some wisdom and some game, some experience, some information, I'm there for it. But in order to be the person I aspire to be, at every opportunity, I'm going to get that shit out. Some folk will tell you the game is to be sold, not to be told. I don't play that game. I ain't in that space. So, it don't apply. Let it fly. There's so many folk that have no idea what a man looks like, how a man should behave, what a man's conversation sounds like, what his day-to-day operation should look like, how to meet other men, how men should treat each other, how men should operate when nobody's watching. There's a missing persons report that got filed somewhere in the 70s and 80s. And the problem is, folk never filled the report out and just left that shit where it was. Men have gone missing, so to speak. Nowhere to be found. Like the Avatar, when he was needed most. Gone without a flash. I'm tripping. Hold up. Give me 1 second. Peep these posters, by the way. If you don't understand all the references for the posters, you uncultured. Every single one of them is a little bit who I am. I'll be right back. Did you miss me? Nah, but getting back to the bigger point of it, folk don't understand what a man looks like because men were pushed out for whatever reasons. And majority of the issues that you're experiencing right now could be fixed if only there was a man around. So, where are they? Crazy part about it is you were told that men disappeared, but they still out here. But unfortunately so, it's uncomfortable for them to be men. So, folks is just doing their thing, not the center of attention, just coasting, focusing on themselves. It's like you looking for Superman, but shit, Superman got tired of all the vitriol, so he like walking around as Clark Kent. You walking past him every day. And he minding his business. With that being the case, right? All you have to do is pinpoint when you find one or when you see one, understand when you're around one, and allow them to be them without there having to be some ulterior motive, some underlying outrageous consequence attached to it, some sort of manipulation, just a space for a man to be a man. And we don't have many of those, which is why, especially black men, which is why there are so many chaotic spaces. You go out to the club, shit, club ain't the space for a black man to be a black man. It's a space for niggas to be niggas. When you got to eat, you can figure out what kind of restaurant it is by just observing how many black men you see sitting down eating. How many do you see walking in and out? And how many niggas do you see sitting down eating or walking in and out? You can curate every single environment just based on the participation and the presence of black men. Don't believe me? Barbershops. I've never in my entire life never seen a barbershop with a commercial advertised on I've never seen it. But there's always barber schools. There's always new barbershops being opened. They always being transferred from this name to that name. And majority of the barbers I've ever come in contact with, the only time they ever need to stop cutting hair is when they feel like it. I'm bored of it. I'm going to try something new. Because those are the spaces where black men still exist at. Crazy enough. So they didn't disappear. If black men disappeared and men disappeared, barbershops would have disappeared because there's not enough studs in the world. Not enough pixie cuts. There's not enough women with fades to keep all these barbershops open. So to the single women saying, ain't no men left. Yeah, there are. Problem isn't that they don't exist. The problem is they don't want to exist around you. You don't know one when you see one, or you don't know how to be around one. So let me give you game. And the game is super. I can't put enough supers on there. It's super simple how to diagnose whether somebody is a grown man or not. Give you the signs. Sign number 1. Boundaries. That's some grown man shit to set some boundaries. While you're around me, there's some things you can do. There's some things you can't do. I don't care who you are. I don't care what the space is. There's some things that I won't condone. Either it's going to stop or I'm going to remove myself from the space. If you see somebody setting boundaries, but there's always pushback. With kids, defiance. I don't want the boundaries. Here come the consequences. You're gonna get your ass whooped, or you're gonna feel some discomfort because it's a teaching point. With single women, I don't want no boundaries. I want things to go my way. Okay, then you can do that, just not while I'm here. And that point right there, if a man tries to set boundaries and somebody disagrees with him, a man is not going to temper those boundaries because they serve a purpose. The boundaries define who you are as a man. So I don't stand on the boundaries. I don't stand on myself as an individual. That ain't gonna work. Or you get to a situation where you dismissive of the boundaries and they say, cool. If somebody agrees with you overstepping their boundaries, you're already lost. So if you dating and you say, shoot, he got to worship me, and his approach was, you got to meet me halfway and we need to build together and you going to worship me. If he agrees to what you're saying, you're being gaslit. If he disagrees with you respectfully, you probably need to get your shit together. Or don't. Just don't go complaining when you talking about ain't no men left and you trying to disrespect the demonstration. You think you bigger than the program. Ain't nobody bigger than the program. Another situation, having priorities straight. A man would has priorities straight. And it might look like having boundaries on occasion, but it's not the same thing. The priorities are the source or the reason for the boundaries. For example, I don't drink. I prioritize my health. I don't smoke. I prioritize my health. So that also affects what environments I'm in, who I'm hanging out with, what we're doing. The priority is the root cause of the behavior and the actions. My priorities and then my boundaries, that right there, that little setup, that diagram that's being shown, that's called being intentional. So if you got somebody with boundaries and no priorities, intentionless. Or if you got somebody with priorities but no boundaries, unintentional. That ain't no man. Because the next thing after having priorities as a man is every adult male that considers himself a man has things that he'll live for and things that he'll die for. Or things that he'll live for and things that he'll die about. Every single one of them. There's no way around it. And some of the familiar ones you hear is, shoot, I die by my respect. That our ancestors, the ones that was jumping off them boats, yeah, my die about that respect thing. Or the story of the man who killed his son rapist. Out, shoot, I want him to die about my family. My respect, my family, my priorities are things that I'm willing to die about because I prioritize them. I'll go to the end of the earth to maintain those boundaries. Things that I live for. Again, another side of my priorities. These are things that I'm after, I'm pursuing. And I've said it in an episode before. A masculine trait is to set a goal and then aspire to accomplish the goal. Goal setting and goal achievement are masculine as hell. Grown man shit. You want somebody that's going to be setting the boundaries. You can't just do whatever you want to do around them. It's offensive. It's disrespectful. Priorities. I understand what's important to me. And I prioritize what's important to me. And I set boundaries according to such. Intentional. Again, priorities, boundaries. The shit got to make sense. What I'm doing has to lend itself towards my priorities. My boundaries have to have purpose. And then in your purpose, having things that you'll live for and things that you'll die about. Those right there, 4 things. Simple as hell. If women were interested in dating, right? I just gave you the blueprint right there. The characteristics and the individual character traits that somebody has, or the vices or hobbies that people have, all of them are the gray area that make each one of us unique. But the priorities, the intention, the boundaries, and those 4 talking points I just gave you, if you get to know those 4 talking points, you're going to figure out whether somebody's a man or not. It's really that simple. Those 4 things. What are your priorities? What are your boundaries? What are your intentions? What are you living for, and what are you willing to die over? You get to know them things, you're going to find. And these are not even conversations that men have with each other. These are things that we grow and come of age, and we just understand, hey, man, shit. It's just how I operate. How I was wired. That's the applications that were instilled in us by God, the universe, Allah, whatever you choose to call your creator. Simple. Get to know somebody at their root, and then it's easy to understand everything else. I'll give you an example, right? So, my priorities. I want to be as healthy as possible. Not just how I eat, not just how much I exercise, but what movies am I watching? What music am I listening to? What kind of conversations do I participate in? Am I learning? Am I exercising not just my physical body, but also my mental? Am I exercising my spirit? Am I maintaining my emotions? Am I emotionally healthy? My EQ, my IQ? Am I participating in healthy, wholesome activities on a day-to-day? Am I coming across positive stimuli? All of these things play into health. So what are your guilty pleasures? That plays into your health. I like to watch anime, for example. If you can't see it on the wall, OG. Kind of newish. Newish. Why do I like anime? not just because it's blind entertainment, but because it's an expressive art form in which storytelling and creativity come together at a mesh point, and people are able to explore different parts of their imagination. And each individual show harps on a different point. Some of them will be, it's going to be amazing animation. Some of them are, I'm going to harp on the fact that growth is the most important thing, or building a story and being able to tell a story to completion is the most important thing, or I just want to be funny and I need you to be able to laugh and enjoy this is the most important thing. But each one focuses on being able to be as creative as possible in a positive form. And when you get to an adult, and I mean, when you become an adult and you get past your adolescence, it gets tough to find entertainment that isn't harping on the hardships of adult responsibilities. Somebody's fighting, somebody's arguing, somebody's cussing somebody out. There's got to be some kind of friction. There's got to be some kind of drama. Majority of adult entertainment relies upon the parts of life that are too quote unquote rough or inappropriate for a child's eyes. And then you got the kids who grew up today, they don't have almost any age appropriate entertainment. So they watching the same shit that we watching. And if you have adults that can't even find their way through trying to get through the maze of appropriate entertainment that's gonna have a positive influence on them, fuck you think the kid's gonna do? But be ass out. Priorities, boundaries. I need to be healthy, so there's some shit I'm not gonna watch. There's some activities I'm not gonna participate in. You're not gonna see me in the club at 1 a.m. One, I need my rest because I'm gonna get up early and I'm gonna hit the gym. 2, I don't drink and I don't smoke, so what am I doing there? 3, the hoes I'm looking for not in the club at 1 a.m. If you think about the club logically, it's just a daycare for baby mamas and baby daddies. Somebody is coming to pick yours up soon. Won't be me. But giving you the four talking points, basically, of trying to find the baseline for masculinity, baseline for manhood. But now you got the battle against the deceitful gaslighters and panderers, right? Will tell you a man is somebody who provides. If I am quote unquote unemployed, but I own my own land, I farm, I own animals, and everything that's going into my kitchen, I grow or I cultivate, I build my own house, and I'm able to manage and maintain my entire environment. Ask these people who are professionals on manliness and being a provider, whether that's provided or not. I can provide food, water, shelter, and the necessities of life. I own it. I control all of it. But am I a provider? Because if I'm unemployed and I'm managing this space, I'm not buying designer clothes. I'm not focused on vacations. I'm focused on managing the tools that I need to maintain my space, trying to improve and be more efficient and get the most out of my resources, finding problems, fixing problems. If I were to minimize my activity to just those thought processes and just those points, 2025, you're not a provider. Just a motherfucker with some land. Because provider is a euphemism for sugar daddy. I don't want a provider. I want somebody who is going to be my father. Give me everything. I want a genie. Magic lamp with a genie inside. I had the conversation about snapping EBT. I don't want somebody that's going to be able to maintain the bills and pay all the bills and make sure the priorities is met. I want somebody that's going to be able to validate my fantasies, bring my imagination to life, and enable me to want more, seek more, and desire more, regardless of whether it's attached to reality or not. And the pander is online to tell you, yeah, that's providing. Whatever she wants, whatever she needs, she deserves. That shit's optional. Sorry to say it. The Amish, regardless of how much social media is coming into fruition, no matter what they're doing with AI, no matter the technological advancements, them folk don't need for nothing. They not coming into the city to go, shit, hey, let me get these up off you. Nah, if anything, they going, shit, we got some butter. Y'all want some? Got some cheese. We have surplus meat, eggs, flowers, vegetables, produce. Y'all want some of this? We're going to take that money. We're going to buy more tools that's going to allow us to be more efficient in providing and maintaining our space. I'll be damned if you try to tell brother Ezekiel or brother Jebediah they are not providers. Or you get back to the gaslighting where somebody tell you if somebody doesn't dress a certain way or have the same priorities as you, they're not a man. Adults are all allowed to experience life on their own and then make their own opinions based on these experiences. So for somebody to invalidate an experience that isn't theirs, it's disrespectful. Grown man ain't gonna have that. Or you have people, and this was big during the election, right? With the Trump shit. Folk were like, if you didn't vote, don't talk to me. If you voted for so-and-so, you stupid. If you didn't vote the way that I voted, I'm going to invalidate you. You're not willing to consider somebody else's perspective and their priorities. And you wondering why you standing on your own. I'm going to tell you the biggest reason why I didn't vote for Kamala Harris. I'm not going to tell you what my ballot looked like. I'm going to outwardly tell you I didn't vote for Kamala. Because as much as the Trump side was offensive for a lot of people, the Democratic Party was so disrespectful toward black men. It was like, y'all niggas can't be serious with what you saying right now. The speeches that Kamala was giving and Mrs. Obama and President Obama all gave, the feeling I got from their speeches before the election was the same feeling I got when I saw the BET Awards in a strip club. Like, y'all niggas can't be serious. Oh, and I'll never forget this because I was like, there's no way that this is real and that somebody actually said this. Just, yeah, if you don't vote Democrat, you don't love black women. You not even a real black man. You a sellout. How you gonna try to tell me that I can't weigh all my options? And if I do, I'm a sellout. Regardless of which way I was gonna vote, for you to try to set boundaries that I don't have on myself and try to corral who I am and what I'm allowed to do. Yeah, any man ain't gonna go for that. Because again, my boundaries are I'm allowed to process information, take that information and apply it to make the best decision moving forward. For you to tell me, man, fuck what you know, fuck what you done heard, you got to do what I said, otherwise you ain't real. Man, fuck you. Respectfully. But, and you can tell that it was a open season for black men because after these politicians did it, it's normal in society. It's normal to be like, hey man, if you didn't vote how I told you to vote or how I voted, I don't acknowledge you as an individual. I like something, so you better like it too. Hell nah. Yeah. Must be tripping. Must be tripping. Like, that's tough to even think about. But that's the space you in, right? And it's a lot of that. You need to do what I expect of you, or you're not a man. All those other things don't matter. My perception of a man is somebody who's going to do what I want. And I'm going to get into that in a second, man. Just the idea of a man has been diminished to such a degree that, of course, you can't find one because what you're looking for is not a man. You're looking for an imaginary creature from a story that somebody told you when you was little. You're looking for Rumpelstiltskin or some shit. Paul Bunyan. John Henry. You're looking for Bigfoot. Other words, a nigga who you ain't never gonna find. And the problem with that, right, is you take the first two issues and then you combine them with this last one. And the last one is the furthest extent of pandering. It's the gaslighting. And it's an all-encompassing issue because it's coming from people who are just telling half truths, right? Where people are misrepresenting themselves, specifically men are misrepresenting themselves to women who are less intelligent, less informed, and less familiar with the environment that these men exist in, like wealthy men. Yes, I'm a wealthy man. I behave like this. I treat my women like this. This is how we think. This is how we act. And we'll feed them crumbs of this fantasy. But once they've gotten what they want out of them, the women crash back to earth. But they saw glimpses of this fantasy. I was flown out. I was bought these expensive things. Got me pregnant and then just disappeared. Yeah, the man that was going to tell you everything you wanted to hear, turn you on to things that you've never seen before, and open your eyes and treat you like the most important thing in the world, disingenuous. Because the truth about the situation is men who have resources and not really planning on giving them to you. You don't get rich by just giving charity. And that's been the largest part of the delusion and the confusion behind trying to find a man. Because you got I'm a speak on names, right? I watched Cam Newton, right? Just clips from his show. And there'll be like multiple clips because he's one of the few podcasts that have real conversations. And a lot of the shit that I see him say, I'm just like, yo, this sound dumb as hell. And that's the crazy thing about these men who have like wealth beyond your wildest dreams, because they participate in careers that enable them to accomplish things and acquire these things. They're singularly focused on that career. So for the longest, as kids, used to think that an athlete was a good role model, and the assumption was there that because you're good at this, you must also be intelligent. You must also be a good person because that's how you're being marketed. And with these podcasts, you learning that a lot of these niggas is dumb as hell. A lot of these niggas ain't shit. And a lot of these niggas are the worst parts of society. Worked on their game, but didn't work on their personality. No morals anywhere in the vicinity. And to go back to Cam Newton, right? There are 3 different interviews I've seen clips of, and I'm just like, that shit just disgusts me because I know somewhere somebody believing this shit to be the coolest thing ever. First one was seeing conversation with his dad. He was talking about shit. Jesus wasn't married. And I'm like, nigga, Jesus didn't have kids neither. You got a bunch of them by a bunch of different women. But his understanding is skewed based on his perspective. This is how I live my life, so I'm going to see the things that confirm or validate how I live my life. Because that right there was some of the dumbest shit I'd never heard. Why should I get married? Jesus ain't married. Then the next one was the conversation he had with the female doctor. I'm not sure what her name was. My apologies. I think it might have been Vanessa. Having a conversation about being single, dating, back and forth, and just some of the things he was saying. I was like, yeah, your status as an athlete has gotten you a long way, because it ain't no way somebody with a right mind, in their right mind, should hear what you saying and be like, I'm with that nigga. Nah, bro. And then the last clip was the one I just seen recently where he had Mario on there talking about Dirty Mackin. And the statement was made, shoot, I'm gonna walk up to with a nigga and be like, shit, your nigga ain't me. That's beyond Dirty Mackin, bro. And again, I was raised with morals where respect was important. Folk didn't care how talented you were as an athlete. Didn't care what your skills were, how you treated people. Meant something. It matters. One thing that I'm big on, which is big for me, is if you have a relationship, I don't want to flirt. I don't want to entertain any kind of interaction with you. You chose a relationship. You chose commitment. Respect that. I respect that, man. You should respect that, man. That's popped up in my life in a few situations where married women were trying to, and I'm like, hell nah, what? I respect your relationship and I respect your husband. Don't disrespect your husband in front of me. Got to move around. Even people who aren't married, if you are in a situationship with somebody, choose them. Don't involve me. There have been a few women who were either on breaks with their man or dating but not really serious, half committed, and I'm not applying no pressure. I'm not going to try to prove myself the bigger man. Nah, fuck all that. You chose somebody, stick by your decision. So when it comes to that kind of conversation with a woman who has a man, nah, I'm good. If you're not totally single, don't talk to me. If you thinking about it, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Respect thing. If you wanted to be associated or affiliated with somebody, respect them and respect yourself. You made that decision, stick by it. But you got a lot of athletes, right? Folks will excuse lack of morality for surplus of resource. He got money, so you ain't got to be a good person. At what point did that become the thing? You're a multimillionaire. You can be an asshole. Man, shitting me? Move the fuck around. Nah, bruh. Hell no. Talking about Dirty Mackin. Nah, nigga, that shit. The whole purpose of Mackin is to get chose. For you to bypass being indecisive, for you to put your eyes on me, or for you to experience me in such a way where you automatically have made the decision that, yeah, if allowed, I'll be yours. If given the opportunity, I would like to be in your space for as long as you'll have me. Smacking. Simple as that. I don't try to Euro step, move around no relationships. I don't want to step on no toes. I'm not posting up, back to the basket, none of that shit. Bitch, I'm running the break. Simple as that. If it ain't as easy as a fast break, shit, go ahead and call timeout and take me out the game. But again, these men with resources have more access because of the resources. But To whom much is given, much is expected. So you have a lot of resources. You expected to have a high level of morality as well. In the Bible, the man who God gave the most, God expected the most from. It's not as playing itself out. Not at all. And as a man with no kids, I understand the process of child rearing better than people who are parents. If you want your children to succeed, the best environment you can place them in is a healthy household with their mother and their father being raised in a household where their parents have a healthy relationship. That is the most optimal environment you can put your kids in. Case closed. And if you are entertaining somebody who at no point made an attempt to establish that environment for their kids, you talking to some terrible people, especially a man. For a man to automatically bypass his responsibility to his child's mother for the sake of his child, it's weak as hell. And getting back to the Cam Newton of it all and like the Nick Cannon of it all, you got men who, because I have money, I can pay for the child, and that's equivalent to being a parent. Fuck no, you a trash father if that's how you thinking. Because your kids are not allowed the optimal environment for their success. You didn't think about them at all. Majority of men who have multiple baby mamas and multiple kids are narcissists. But again, women will overlook that because the 4 points that I was talking about never come into play. It's what resources do you have? How much attention are you going to give me? Will you validate my illusions? My imagination? Are you enabling me to be in my toxicity? You've replaced strength, boundaries, goals, and intentional with excess, sloth, lack of morality, and toxicity. And then you walking around going, shit, where all the men at? You were never interested in men. You was interested in whatever the fuck he is, which is not a man. A man who has kids but does not prioritize his kids over his own selfishness, it's hard for me to look at that individual and acknowledge them as a man. And for other men who have to make similar decisions, it's the same way. I understand men who understand what it's like to be a father, what all that entails, whether they be fathers or not. They could be uncles, they can be cousins, they can be teachers. Men who have an understanding of what that child development looks like will judge men accordingly. Only God can judge. Shit, me. We are all responsible for one another. So if you're not holding up your end of the bargain, you got to feel that. Respect means a lot. If you don't respect your kids enough to put them in the best position possible, if you don't respect that woman enough to want to take care of her after you've already labored her with childbirth, shitty dude. Because again, once a woman has kids, shit, your life different. You no longer an individual. You go from whatever your name is to mother. Before you became mother, you were supposed to go from what your name was to Mrs. to mother, because that Mrs. gave you that protection. Protection is not just money. Protection is also peace of mind that somebody is going to put yours and your children's best interest at the forefront of their priorities. And just paying child support is not that. That's why so many men paying child support. Baby mama's getting run through. Your kids got every designer brand they can think of, but they shitty people. Kids need a father. Women need a man. So the kids need to see a man. Your environment requires the presence of a man. It ain't one in sight. It's the ones that are supposed to be men or shit. People just letting them slide, letting them do whatever. Nobody's holding them accountable. And the ones that are striving to be the best version of themselves, getting hit with every fucking trick in the book. Gaslit, cancel culture, all kind of threats. Folks are weaponizing the police against just being a man. I don't mean like predatory behavior, but shoot, I turned her down. She called the police on me. We got into a discussion in which I went, I'm no longer interested in you. She chose to swing on me. She can swing on me and call the police and I can go to jail. As a man, what am I supposed to do? There's rarely a space where men can be men. There are spaces, but they out of sight, out of mind. Now you out here in all of these spaces trying to figure out where the men at. Take away all of this excess bullshit and they'll come back outside. And when they come back outside, shit, they gonna lay the law down. It's gonna hurt your pride, it's gonna hurt your ego, but you'll be better off for it. It is what it is, man. Till next time.